Stay tuned for Airgun Detectives.
Welcome to another episode of Airgun Detectives. I'm your host, JC. Today, I got a double for you. We're going to take the mystery out of the HW98. These are Breakbarrel rifles by WEIHRAUCH. And I'm not just going to feature one, I'm going to feature a .177 and a .25 caliber. But guess what? I also matched them up with some KONUS optics, some really nice KONUS scopes. And we talked about this before. I get lots of inquiries. People want to know about different optics and what have you. So when I come across something really good, especially for break barrels, I'm going to share it with you because there's not many scopes out there that are rated for both centerfire and air guns, because you guys know, as far as break barrels go, we have that dual recoil. So when you actually cock the rifle, the piston comes to the back of the chamber here and is locked in with the sear. Then you pull the trigger, the piston goes forward, it hits the front of the chamber, creates a recoil that goes to the front, and then it bounces and goes to the back. So conventional scopes don't hold up well. This is a different story. That's why I'm going to show you these as well as talk about the guns. So we get a kind of a double review here. But before we get started on that, do me a favor. If you hadn't already, please hit that subscribe button right down there in the corner. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really does help support the channel, and I greatly appreciate that. Also, if you have an opportunity, check out my website, www.airgundetectives.com. On that site, I've got various t-shirts. I've got hats, I got my Generation 2 bipods, we got our Gamma trigger screws, and we also have some inventory that I'd like to rotate in. You know, I sell the older inventory that I have, then I can make room to buy some new stuff. But anyway, let's get back to these HW98s. I've had these for several years. In fact, they were retirement gifts to myself. And I wanted to outfit them the best I could, so I got some really good scopes, and I got some in my opinion, one of the better break barrels out there, but we'll go through that. So the HW98s, these are a spring piston, and they make these actually in 4 caliber, .177, .20, .22, and .25. 100% German made. And these have a nice heavy barrel on them. They got a big barrel sleeve on this, if you can see. This one is in .177. I'm going to show you the .25 in a minute. You won't notice any difference except the diameter of the front barrel. Other than that, they're 100% identical. So they feature the record trigger, which is absolutely my #1 favorite trigger. These rifles themselves, they're about 8 pounds. They're 41 inches overall, and it has about a 16¼ inch barrel. Now there's no adjustable sights on this, but the stock, we do have an adjustable cheek rest, and the butt pad is adjustable as well. They also have a stippled forestock here and the palm swell here as well. So it's got a nice texture on it. It really does. Just good looking rifles in my opinion. But let's talk a little bit about what I mounted here. Okay, this right here on the .177, we got the KONUS Pro. This is their model 7190. This is a 1-inch tube on here. It actually has a side parallax. You've got kind of low profile turrets with the little caps on the side. Move the shade here so you guys can see a little bit more. This one's actually 3x12 by 50. 3x12 by 50, so you get a lot of light in there. And this is a illuminated reticle. It's in both the red and blue, and it's a 30-30 reticle on this one. And you can see on the side here, you can adjust your light position as far as the lit reticle goes, and then you have also your side parallax to do your adjustment there. That'll get your focus set for your distance, and then obviously your power setting here. And this one is, as I said before, this one is 3-12, so by 50. So we're getting a lot of light in there. So and this also is a glass etched reticle, and they do come, this one does come with a sunshade as well that can be screwed on there if you want a sunshade on it, which is pretty cool. All right, now let me show you what I have mounted on the 25. Okay, the 25, this is what we call the Glory. This is the KONUS Glory. This is their model 7188. So it's a nice match here for the 25 caliber. This is a 2x16 by 50. And this has a 30mm tube, so a little larger diameter tube. The other one had a 1-inch tube. This also has a side parallax adjustment. And this also has, it's illuminated as well. And this has a German 4 reticle, which is pretty cool. And this has pull up and push down turrets. So you just pull them up, adjust your settings, push it down, you're locked in. And again, this one has the side parallax as well, right here. Remove this cover here. And you've got your reticle light adjustment on the outside, and then you have your parallax adjustment on the inside. And this one also has zoom on it, and this one is 2:16, by the way. And it's got some really fine glass on it. It really does. So this one also has a sunshade. If you want to put the sunshade on there, you can. That'll go on there just like that. Anyway, so this is our 25 caliber. Our 25 caliber, there's no difference as far as the looks of the gun. The only difference really is the barrel. So the .177 caliber shoots in the 900s. The 25 caliber is supposed to shoot in the 600s. Like I said, I've had these rifles for a while. I've been actually itching to review them for you guys because they are one of my favorites. And now we match them up with some pretty cool scopes. So we're going to go out and we'll test the gun, we'll test the scopes, and then we're going to come back and we'll talk about it. So stay tuned for the next segment. All right, let's test out our 298s over the chronograph. We'll start with the .177 here. This rifle is not overly pellet picky, it really isn't, but we're going to go with a match heavy. These are H&N Sport pellets. These are 8.18 grain pellet. So 8.18 grain pellet. We'll just shoot 5 shots over the chrony. We'll just see how we make out velocity-wise. But like I said, it's not pellet picky. There's a few pellets that actually perform quite well on this rifle. But we're just going to test these for now. Okay. Shot number 1. 924. Shot number 2. 919. Shot number 3. 922. Shot number 4. 925. And one more. 926. That's pretty low standard deviation. Not bad. So let's go test the 25 caliber and see how it performs. Now it's our turn to test the 25 caliber 98 over the chrony. And for this one, we're just going to shoot it performed really well with these Barracuda greens. They're like a 20 grain pellet. But something about the shape, they just got the best accuracy. But let's just shoot 5 shots. We'll average it out. Like I said, these are around a 20 grain pellet. Let's see how they perform. All right. Shot number 1. 646. Shot number 2. 642. Shot number 3. 638. Shot number 4 here. 644. And our final number 5 shot. 645. So there's your average 5 in your foot-pounds of energy. Like I said, it's not an overly powerful rifle, but it's not bad either. And with the accuracy on this, which I'm going to demonstrate, you're pretty much going to be able to take out anything you want. So let's move on to the next segment. Let's test out our HW98s for some accuracy. We're going to do the .177 caliber first. And with this one, we're going to shoot, this is one of the better performing pellets. And as I mentioned before, this isn't overly pellet picky. But we're going to use the Barracuda filled targets. These are a 9.57 grain pellet, and they seem to do quite well, actually really well. Hopefully we can get similar performance on camera as I did when I was warming up here. Once again, we're going to use our 4-inch splatterburst targets, these highlighter impact points. I'll leave you guys a link down below. We're at usual break barrel distance, which is 20 yards. So go ahead and take a quick look at that. Okay, so as I said, we're going to shoot the .177. We're going to shoot 5 shots. Don't worry if it hits dead center, because I'm going for grouping. This thing's sighted in for a little bit farther than 20 yards, and I didn't want to mess with the scope. And by the way, this is our KONUS scope, one of our KONUSes. This is the Pro, and it's doing a great job, and we're going to demonstrate that right now. So, 5 shots, and we'll see how well we do here. Alrighty. Shot number 1. Oh, and I'd say that's a heck of a shot. Remember I was saying, don't worry about the bullseye. We're going for grouping. All right, shot number 2. Shot number 3. Shot number 4. Shh, don't jinx this. Right now, it's looking like 1 hole. Okay. And last but not least. Whoa. Hey, at least we did it on camera. This is good. Look at that group. It's basically 1 hole. That's 1 hole. So, yeah, these 98s are something special. They really are. And then you top it with something like this KONUS scope where you have terrific optics. Fantastic. All right, let's try the 25 caliber and see what type of performance we can get out of that one. All right, now we're going to test our 25 caliber model. And yes, we have our KONUS on this rifle as well. This is the Glory scope. This is a little bit of an upgrade, as we mentioned before. Anyway, let's do 5 shots, same thing. Don't worry about if it hits a bullseye or not. We're going for grouping. 5 shots. All right. And shot, God, this glass is clear. Shot number 1. Shot number 2. Shot number 3. Shot number 4. God, these are smooth shooting rifles. There's no question about it. Number 4. And 1 more. Shot number 5. Accurate, accurate, accurate. Yes, they are. All right. And here's shot number 5. You gotta love the performance in these. You really do. And I can't emphasize enough on this Glory, the glass on it, how clear it is. It's just truly amazing. Okay, let's move on to the next segment. Let's test the trigger on our HW98. The triggers on these rifles are phenomenal. And the 177 and the 25 caliber, I pretty much have them set the same, so we'll just test one of them. Anyway, I have my trusty Lyman trigger gauge here. Let's get that reset. But seriously, these triggers are just unbelievable. All right, let's see where we have this one set at. Okay, I got that one set at 8.5 ounces. Yeah, primarily for target shooting. But tremendous triggers, completely adjustable. In my opinion, probably the best break barrel triggers out there by far. I like them better than the T06. They just happen to be one of my absolute favorites, and they're easy to adjust too. All right, let's move on to the next segment. All right, let's do a little plinking with our HW98. Both these rifles from 40 yards, they're pretty comparable as far as accuracy goes. We're just going to use a .177 one. And we're going to use the 9.57 grain pellets. A little windy today. A little heavier pellets work well. And we've got our KONUS Pro here. Great sight picture, especially at 40 yards. You can really get that leveled out, and then get the parallax all set up so you have a nice crystal clear picture. So as I said, we're our usual 40 yards out. Go ahead and take a quick look. You can see we got a shotgun shell there. We've got a little piece of PVC, a couple of little red eggs. We're going to try to knock those down, see how well we do. But let's just see what happens. Again, our field target trophies are 9.57 grain. And let's start from the left and try to take the shotgun shell out first. Okay. There we go. That's one. And let's see. What do we got next there? Oh, that little cap of some sort. Got that one. We're getting smaller. Got that little piece of PVC. I love how those shatter. All right, how about the eggs? There's one. And one more. All right. Well, that's your HW98, 40 yards. Let's move on to the next segment, wrap this up. Okay, let's wrap this up with our conclusion. Well, I'm going to tell you guys, the HW98s matched with these KONUS scopes, absolutely awesome. There's no other word I can put. They're absolutely awesome. These rifles are one of my most favorite break barrels, if not the most favorite. But I'll let you know that for another review when I do my favorite top 5 break barrels. But fantastic rifles with terrific optics here. And you guys saw how we tested these and how our performance was. It was off the chart. So let's talk about the positives, because I have no negatives for these rifles because they're worth every penny. Like we said before, 100% German made. The quality, that's starting out with the positives. That's it. Look at the look, feel, the finish of these, the heavy barrels, fantastic. The stocks, the adjustment on the stock, they're just terrific. And then, of course, you've got the best trigger, and I can tell you this right now, my #1 favorite trigger in all the break barrels is this record trigger. It's better than the T06s. There's nothing that comes close. These are the best triggers by far. And then let's talk about the accuracy on these rifles. Off the chart once again. It's simply the best when it comes to break barrels. I mean, look at these targets again. Look at the 177 and then even the 25. Just unbelievable. That 177 target, literally, that was every pellet to the same hole. So every time you pull the trigger on these rifles, I'm telling you, it puts a smile on your face. It does. I enjoy it every time because you have this light trigger. The rifle is just so smooth. It's easy to cock, and right where you're aiming, that pellet goes every time. So let me talk a little bit about the optics here. Okay, this is the 177. This one had our Pro on it. This is the model 7190. I really liked it. I really did. It held its point of aim. Through all our shooting and through my testing and all my shooting before that, it held point of aim, and you got to like that. It's got a nice clear sight picture. I like the illuminated reticle, and I really like side parallax where you can adjust it so I'm not reaching up in the front and doing my adjustments up here. I really like the fact that there's a side parallax, which is nice. So the scope, pretty awesome. So let's switch guns. Okay, now we have our 25 caliber rifle. In fact, let's just pull the scope cover off here. Like I said, you guys really can't tell the difference from there. The only difference between these rifles, honest to God, is the barrel. That's it. But anyway, this one has their model 7188. It's definitely a bump up from the 7190. Definitely. The glass on this is just, I mean, it's just fantastic. It really is incredible. I love the reticle on it. I love the fact it's a 30mm tube. It's a bigger tube. And I like the push-pull turrets where you can just pull these up and adjust them and then lock them down. And once again, this has this, as I said, the side parallax, which I love. This one has the zoom. It's got the little knob to make that easier too, as well. Now this is definitely a little bit more expensive scope. It really is. So you're looking, you know, you're the 7190s in that $200 range. You find it higher, lower, depends. There's sales everywhere. And you just got to look around. Just got to look around, look for the best price. The 7188, I've seen this anywhere between $400 and $500. So, but I'm telling you, you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, that's an expensive scope. Let me tell you something. This scope and the other one are both rated for centerfire and air guns, which is rare. And they back that up. You know what they back that up with? They back it up with a lifetime replacement warranty. As long as you're the original owner, they'll replace this thing if you have any problems with it in the future. So keep that in mind. You're thinking, well, it's a little expensive scope. Yeah, but it's the last scope you're ever going to have to buy for that break barrel. And if you look through the glass on this, you'd be sold instantly. I'm telling you. Rather than having a cheap scope, I'd save my ducats, use a cheap scope that the gun comes with, save your money, and then buy one of these, and you never have to buy another scope again. And I'm passionate about that because it makes such a difference. If you've never looked through, like I said, a more high-end scope, this is one you're going to look through. So honestly, our rifles, 5 stars. That goes without a doubt. Like I said, you couldn't even get much better than that. The scopes, I'm going to give KONUS 5 stars because the performance, the overall quality of these come with is just, it's outstanding. It really is. So check those out. I'll leave you guys some links for most of the stuff that I can find. I'll put some links down there and make it easier for you. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Airgun Detectives. I know I enjoyed it because these rifles are a lot of fun to shoot, especially, like I said, when you got good optics on them. It really makes it fun. Oh, also, I know these HW98s are a little difficult to find, but I checked with my buddy Mike Melick of Flying Dragon Airguns, and I'm going to leave you guys a link. Call him if you're interested. He can order one of these for you. So, you know, most anywhere you look, they're going to say out. He's got some connections, but he can order these for you. And the best part, if you order something from Mike, he'll tune it for you before he gives it to you at no additional charge. That's like a $150 value. So that's pretty good. So I'll leave a link for that down below as well. So anyway, again, this is where we take the mystery out of the air gun and maybe some scopes and some other things too as well. So until next time, I hope you're getting a lot of shooting in. I hope your families are doing well. So take care and God bless.